Hello, my name is Dr. Katie Dunleavy, and I am an associate professor in the communication department here at LaSalle University. I'm joined here today by some researchers and interns that are working together on a research grant that we received from the Community Driven Research Day here in Philadelphia. We come from a variety of backgrounds, and we've been working together on a common goal of our interest in the environment and in public health here in the city of Philadelphia. I'm joined here first by Dr. Mei-Lin Chen Lim, who is an assistant professor in the nursing department from Thomas Jefferson University. May is the principal investigator on this grant, so she is the one who is in charge of the majority of the planning and the allocation of what we are doing. So I'm going to start with May, since you are the principal investigator. So first of all, thank you for joining us here today. And I just wanted to first know a little bit about what attracted you to this grant, and also what attracted you to Project Always Receiving, our community partner that we're working with.
So first of all, Katie, thank you for having me and having us being here to talk about this project. Really appreciate that. So I've always been interested in working with children, especially. I'm a pediatric nurse by background, and a researcher, and I have been at the Community Driven Research Day event that happens annually, and this past recent one that they had, I had met Anya Richards, who's the founder for Project Always Receiving, and we connected from our common interest in supporting our youths in the inner city of Philadelphia. And we wanted to do something to help the youths in the area, teaching them about research, getting them engaged in the community, how they can give back to their own backyard, basically. And so, yeah, we decided that we were going to work together, and then Flo joined us, and you joined us. So we were able to tie in the environment piece of it. And thankfully for Thomas Jefferson University, Jefferson College of Nursing, who sponsored us for this grant, that we're able to launch this all together with us. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. So you mentioned Dr. Flo Ling, who is an environmental science professor here at LaSalle, and she's actually who brought me into the grant and introduced the two of us, and then also introduced Anya. And I will say for my part, here at LaSalle, we had a mixer, it was a speed research mixer where we got to just hear a little bit about what other faculty are doing in other schools around the university. And so Flo and I just happened to be paired up at this, and it was right after the Community Driven Research Day. And so she had talked to you, and so she had mentioned to me that she had a phone call the next day, and she said, we're gonna be talking about urban gardening with Project Always Receiving. And so I thought it was very interesting, but I didn't think that there was any connection to myself in any way. And she mentioned that something that was going to be needed was a community needs assessment to understand more about the community, nutrition, health, and also what the community might be nervous about in terms of community gardening. And so I have a background in public health, and so then that's how I joined in. So it was very natural, yeah, serendipitous, and just really interesting because we do have such different backgrounds, being nursing, communication, environmental science. So it was just really lucky that we all were able to find each other. So we were awarded the grant July, I believe, 2024. Mm-hmm. And so we're many months into this. So I was just curious, what have you found as the things that you feel like we've been successful at doing so far with the grant?
I have to say, Anya has been instrumental, and she has always had wonderful connections in in the local area. And with the community partners and everything, so she's very well connected in that avenue, and we've been able to do a lot of different partnerships through her relationships throughout the city of Philadelphia, and we've participated in the cleanup for Frankfurt High School. We've done plenty of food distribution in different areas in the city, and yeah, we as far as the work itself, there's 3 key goals in our project. So first, as you mentioned, the community needs assessment, and then the internship, and also the environmental piece. And our goal is tying all that together. So with her relationship, we've been able to make a lot of that connection to help with the research piece of it, the community needs survey. And yeah, we've been able to directly enroll from when we do the food distribution and things like that, so.
Okay. And I know that Flo has been starting with the soil sampling in the area, water sampling, and I believe air quality sampling as well, that we're going to be able to eventually let the community know, here's some indicators to maybe look out for, and here's things where you're good to go, you can start a community garden here, et cetera. What are the biggest pieces left in the grant that we need to finish?
Well, thankfully, we did cross the big hurdle of getting sufficient amount of participants. Of course, we always would welcome more, because the more data that we have, the more richness of the data would tell us. And but I think now the piece is bringing it all together, having the team look at the data, the results of the data, and coming up with what the data has been is going to be telling us. And our goal is to generate the community needs report that would be publicly available, and we can share it across the region.
And I know a big part that I will be joining in on analyzing that data, and then we need to get the data out to the community, and we have to get it out to them in a way that is easily understood. Just because some of this information, I know when Flo talks about some of the data that she's getting back, I don't really know what these indicators mean. So figuring out a way for the community to understand a little bit more about what's happening and what we can do with this information. So we have to submit our deliverables August 2025, and then we're going to go back to the Community-Driven Research Day, which I believe will be in February of 2026, something like that, and we'll be delivering. So we have these specific things we have to do. In your minds, what would be the deliverable to the community? What would you hope the community gets out of this grant?
One of the, I want to backtrack a second. One of the things that I think that has been a great experience of this was the incorporation of our interns, our high school interns. They have just been so insightful of bringing their perspectives from living and going to school in that community, and what's important for those community members, and how we can tailor the survey that would meet their understanding and needs. And also, I think, bringing them along with us in the process. So, did I answer your question?
No, that definitely answers my question. I would say from my perspective, what I would hope that we can get out of this is for many of the community members to know that it's safe and it is healthy to participate in community gardens. You could get quality food from community gardens, and that you don't have to go to a farm, that we can do this here. And so just to be able to make that known, because I know that there's a lot of people who are very nervous about that, think that it's unsanitary or unhealthy to have a community garden. So that's my particular hope, is that we can be able to show with data that yes, this is okay.
So thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
One of the key goals that when we set out to do this project was to support Project Always Receiving, to help identify what those community needs are.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main focus of the survey. And we hope that we will gather that and so help Project Always Receiving to identify what those key initiatives are, so they can actually target the interventions specific needs to the community.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. And I am looking forward to, in our next segment, we're going to hear from at least one of our interns that is working with Project Always Receiving, and then also hearing from our community partner Anya Richards, to just know a little bit more about their experience and about the goals that they have for this. So in the next segment, you will hear from Anya and you will hear from DeAnthony, as we are talking a little bit more about their experiences as we are all working together on this grant.
When a child in your life requires intensive care, their health fragile, their condition complex, certified acute care pediatric and neonatal nurse practitioners will give you the information and support you need to make the best decisions for your child, while providing the critical care your child needs. Trained to diagnose and manage life-threatening conditions and emergencies, they are trained to make a difference. Learn why at certifiednurses.org.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at cisa.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Children exposed to poor air quality have smaller lungs and higher rates of asthma than children with good air quality. IQ Air Foundation is working to change this, providing filtration technology to school children with poor air quality through the Clean Air for Kids program, helping kids to breathe over 90% cleaner air indoors, removing barriers to learning, reducing sick days, and increasing test scores. This is all key to environmental and climate justice. Find out how you can help at iqairfoundation.org.
Dear University of...
Thank you for your offer
to become student ID number 283471.
While I appreciate your desire
for my impeccable academic record,
I must decline the opportunity
to get a generic degree.
I've decided to tell my story.
To be a student,
not a statistic.
I wish you good luck in the future
as I embark on mine.
Hello again. In this second segment, I'm going to be talking a little bit more with our community partner, Anya Richards, and one of our interns, DeAnthony Smith. In the first segment, we talked more about the grant itself, but now we want to talk about the organization. So I first want to thank Anya for joining us today.
Of course.
And I want everyone to just hear a little bit about Project Always Receiving. So first, how did you conceive Project Always Receiving? Where did this come from? What got you going?
So Project Always Receiving started about 2 years ago. It was founded while I was at
at college at Villanova University. I was studying public administration with a minor in leadership. So I used my education to found the nonprofit. I had an internship experience myself and went well. I had some successes and some challenges along the way. But I felt like at the end of the internship that it would be good for me to start my own project to help people. So that's where Project I Was Receiving Ahead came from, and I wanted to be something that was meaningful and fruitful to those and everyone that come in contact with the nonprofit.
And how did you get that, literally get that started? I mean, especially being a college senior at the time, just how did you even get that going?
So I had my internship my sophomore year of high school. Well, I'm sorry, sophomore year of college at Villanova. I interned with Bethel AME Church in Ardmore, and it was such a fruitful experience that I thought to myself that I can continue giving, but on a larger scale. So it took 6 months of doubt, along with some support and, of course, using my education to propel me into doing something that was good and, something that's great now, not only just for me, but, for the community and, like I said, everyone that we come in contact with, a lot of support as well. Like I said, it was a lot of doubt, but there was a lot of support as well, and the support overweighed the doubt. So I was really glad to be able to start it, be able to continue it, be able to grow the nonprofit by adding interns, being able to meet you and the wonderful research team that we have now, and just trying to move forward with the projects and help people that comes along with the nonprofit.
So we were talking a little bit in the first segment, May and I were talking a little bit about how we found out about the Community-Driven Research Day, and she was saying the two of you connecting that particular day. How did you come across the Community-Driven Research grants? What brought that to your attention?
Well, I've always felt like a little bit of an overachiever. So while I was going to Villanova, I studied at Penn, and the day that I met May and some of the other facilitators that I'm now working with was a day that was very overwhelming and overstimulating for me, trying to pitch something that I thought that I was really good, and then having them come on board and be a part of the team and make it really great. So that for me was like, okay, I'm doing something great. I have the support, and just being able to go back to both institutions, both Villanova and Penn, and still being able to utilize the help from them, along with now 2 more academic institutions that I can rely on for support, is very good.
Great. And you had already mentioned some of the growth that you've had and taking on interns. How did you decide on high school interns instead of, say, maybe college interns or et cetera? How did you decide on that?
I feel like the youth is very impressionable. And I feel like being able to reach a particular group and to shape and to mold them into their potential is very telling. So I kept coming across kids at the gas station asking me to pump my gas, asking me to bag groceries, and it was the same particular group, and I saw it as a spiritual sign. I knew at the time when I first developed Project I Was Receiving that I had, kids in the neighborhood that would help, and particularly that age group, the in between like 14, 18, sometimes younger, helping. So I thought that it would be really great to give the youth an opportunity to, showcase their skills, because I feel like they're counted out a lot. And I feel like because a lot of decisions are made for them, they're not really giving the room to show their potential. So I feel like adding responsibility along with their secondary interests, would be good for the nonprofit and good for them too. So I think I was in the right place with it.
How many interns do you have currently? 4.
Yes.
And we are joined today by one of the interns, D'Anthony. So welcome, D'Anthony. Thank you for taking your time to chat with us. How did you hear about this internship, and what made you want to apply? Because you do go through an application process for this.
Well, I was not recommended, but my teacher, Miss Figs from Grants, she recommended to us students that we should sign up for Project Always Receiving, and hearing about being able to help my community, it really spoke to me, and I felt like I just had to join this. So I emailed them, I filled out the form to ask them whether or not I can join the program, and in March I was reached out to and told that I've been accepted, and I was very excited to have such an opportunity.
Yeah. So it's only been a few weeks that you've been working.
It's been about a month.
About a month. Okay. And what have you been doing so far?
Well, my first day there, I did word testing with Flo and Quamaj and Miss Anya, and it was really great being able to speak with people, being able to test the water out and get experience with community help and service. And then after that, we did a food distribution. We do this a lot. Like we get our food to those in need, and it was great just being able to connect with people and see how their life is going, and just seeing seeing people in need getting the need they need.
Great, thank you. And May, what in so far with working with the interns, what would we talked about our goals for the grant itself. What are some of your goals for the interns? What do you hope the interns walk away with after being working on this grant with us?
I really, I love research, and I do think that the more younger and exposure that they have with research, the more understanding that they have of the world, how decisions are made, that we need to generate the data, and the nice thing is we directly are collecting that data from our their own community. But also, I think we definitely connected, with the youth, supporting the youth in the community area. But I think one of our key goals was also to help them, support them to the higher education, so that they can, have a pathway of being, successful in the future. So, not that they can't, but I think, I think having that more education and exposure. So.
Great. So Anya, for any of the high school students who in the area who might be watching this and are interested in Project Always Receiving and thinking about maybe interning, what motivations do you want them to have that would lead you to say that they're a great intern for Project Always Receiving? What kind of interests, maybe what kind of skill set do you think that they would have or want to develop? What are you looking for in an intern?
Well, I'm looking for an intern that is driven by service, driven by helping people, who is selfless and not selfish. Very punctual, that would help. But if they're just intentional, if they have good rapport, good relationship skills, if they really want it, if they're hungry, if they're just tired of how their community is going and they want to see change, I would recommend them to put in an application of Project Always Receiving. I would recommend them to, be the change that they want to see.
Okay. And I know that the current interns that you have a wide variety of interests. So it's not just environmental. Can you just speak a little bit? And then I'm going to ask DeAnthony in just a second also some of his specific interests. What are some of the varied interests that what are they passionate about that you've been able to connect them with?
Everything from fashion and, being with fashion designers and digital media to the healthcare industry to, their own personal projects that they want to do with mental health, helping them network with politicians who are interested in some of their interests. as well as even culinary. I know D'Anthony is interested in culinary and nutrition, and just being able to support the interns around their post-secondary interest is important because it's not all about increasing community outreach and improving agricultural sustainability, which is the mission that our organization is founded upon. It's about being able to help out, but being able to help yourself as well. And I think that's where the project comes in, because it's always a constant change and things that are happening, but the work has to be done. And so.
Yeah. And so, D'Anthony, so you're interested in culinary pursuits. How are you seeing this? How are you seeing this project and internship connecting to your interests?
Well, as someone who already works not only at home but at school with my teachers, Chef Naya and Chef Kenny, but also working with Project Oyster, even having them be able to help me build on my own want of culinary pursuit, it really just encourages me, and having their help to push me in the direction I need it's been very great so far.
And what are suggestions you would have for any high school students who are interested in Project Always Receiving, if you had a piece of advice to give them about their interest potentially in interning?
I would say maybe it's best to focus on what you want and how like the passion that you have could possibly help those in need. Like Project Always Receiving also helps those in need.
Okay. All right, great, thank you. So I want to thank all of you for coming today and sharing your interests, your passions, what you've been doing. And then to those in the Philadelphia area, thinking about community-driven research, thinking about it from a research perspective, thinking about it from the community partners and how can research help you with your initiatives. And then also for high school students, thinking about interning, thinking about your communities, thinking about how you can take what you're interested in and turn it into something that's helping your community. So once again, thank you all. Thank you to LaSalle TV for having us here today, and for the grant that we received, and then also to Project Always Receiving. Thank you.